Good morning, everybody. I decided I'd do a little mushroom hunting today. So I'm up in my local state park and we're going to see what we can find. Today I'm primarily looking for chanterelle mushrooms, which are one of my very favorites. And I haven't been out yet this year looking for them. They should be about this time, so hopefully we'll find something. If not, I got the kayak in the van and we're going to try a little fishing. See if we can find some shrooms first. Well, that certainly didn't take very long. That's the trail right there, and I think I walked in about 10 feet. And I can see beautiful yellow on the forest floor. So let's see what we got here. Oh, those look pretty nice. We got some there, we got some there, we got some over there, we got some over there, and over there, and over there. All right, this is gonna be good. Yeah, it looks like I'm seeing a fair amount, so. Look at these nice chanterelles. And they look like they're pretty fresh too. I don't see much sign of bugs, but the test is always, when you look in the stalks, oh, those look really good. See how firm those are? A lot of times when you cut the stalks, you can see a bunch of bug tubes in there. So these look really good. All right, we're gonna take a few of these. Excellent. You can kind of tell some of these have varying ages. You can see how the edges are kind of scalloped on these ones. And then you have a more extreme example over here, which you can see that one's been eaten by some bugs. It's kind of turning brown on the edges. It's all turned up. That one's a little bit older. So I think some of these we're gonna leave and see if we can find some fresher ones. We can always come back to them if we don't find very many, but I think we're gonna do okay today. And let's try. Yeah, I can actually, here's a perfect example of a fresh young one. See how it almost has that button cap? That's when I mean, after all, this is your food, and everything you put into the bag, if there's dirt on it, it's going to get on all the other ones, and then you're going to have more of a mess when you get home. So it really pays to take your time in the field and clean them up really nice. We got little ones that have been hiding in here. Yeah, see, these ones are my favorite. Perfect. Love chanterelles. One of my favorite mushrooms. The nice thing about chanterelles is once you find a spot, they come up in that spot every year. Some years they may be more prevalent than others. This year has been really wet, so I expect them to be way more prevalent this year. Last year it was pretty low just because it was so dry, and it really makes a big difference. But I got a couple spots we're gonna check today, but I have a feeling that we're gonna get plenty and we're gonna end up fishing. There's a cool little coral fungus. It looks like it's in really good shape too. And it does look like it's crown tip. Now here's a perfect example of those worm tubes that I was talking about. If you look in that stalk, you can see those little pinholes in there. That's because a grub has burrowed up into the mushroom and is eating it inside. So if you break it apart, you will find little grubs in there. This little place, there wasn't quite as many as I first thought when I first got here. So we're gonna move on to my second spot. But I think it's really gonna be good because I bet I've seen probably 6 or 7 different species of mushrooms right now. I don't know what they are, but that's a good sign that things are really productive. So we're gonna move on to spot number 2. When I'm looking for chanterelles, one of the things I look for is that egg yolk color on the forest floor, and usually it really stands out and it's pretty noticeable. But not everything that's egg yolk colored is a chanterelle, and here's the perfect example. As you can see, these are egg yolk colored as well, but these are clearly not chanterelles. These have true gills that don't quite touch the stipe, and they have a hollow stalk. So I have no idea what those are, and we are not going to pick them. Here's some more examples of them. Kind of a pretty mushroom though, really. I can't tell if they're wet because they're slimy or if they're wet because it rained last night. There are just so many fresh species of mushrooms right now. It's just crazy. So it should be a good day to look. Let's see what else we can find. Yeah, see, there's a couple more egg yolk yellows, but those are not chanterelles. Yeah, I see some yellow over here. Not chanterelles. What do we got here? Nope, that's not an oyster. See that stalk on it? We don't want that. What else we got? We got a couple little guys here. Well, here's that one that's just coming up that we just looked at. See how pointed it is? Interesting. And we got these little guys right here. Those are cute. But not chanterelles. Let's keep looking. I just want to clarify with you guys that this video is for entertainment purposes only and is not meant to be an instructional video. Obviously, only one person's responsible for what you put in your body, and that's you. So just because you see me pick a mushroom doesn't mean that you should do the same thing. If you don't know your mushrooms, you need to find somebody who does and have them teach you. I'm confident in my choice today because I have not only attended some mushroom classes and been shown certain species of mushrooms by an expert, but I have also eaten these mushrooms out of this patch for several years in a row, and I'm confident in my identification. However, do not do anything that I do simply because you see me do it. It's up to you as a responsible adult to verify your own identification and sources. There's your warning for the day. I just saw this big mushroom from the trail and I stepped in here, and man, there are just mushrooms everywhere. Nothing that I am familiar with, but I wanted to take a look at it anyway. Look at this big thing. Holy smokes. That is huge. Ugh. And it's slimy too. Well, let me take a look at the underside of it. Look at that thing. What is that? What is that? Oh man, it is so slimy. Well, come on, experts. It's okay, so it's obviously a bolete of some sort because it has pores instead of gills. It is really slimy on the stipe, really slimy. Let's see if it bruises. It looks like it had a veil of some sort. All right, well, I don't want to use my mushroom knife on it because I'm going to be cutting other mushrooms, so let's just see if it bruises any color. Ooh, look how slimy that is. Wow, gross. All right, well, I know somebody's going to have an idea, so please comment down below. Let's see what else we got in here. Saw a bunch of other colors in here too. Some white mushrooms in here. We have this going on here. Well, I think I know what this one is, but think does not count unless you're 100% certain. What else do we got? We got some other LBMs, little brown mushrooms. All right, let's make our way back to the trail. All right, I found my second keeper mushroom of the day today, and that is going to be a hedgehog mushroom. Some people maybe know it as a sweet tooth, I think. But the interesting thing about these is instead of having gills as well, these have little teeth that come down. And this one is a really small specimen, so it's really going to be hard to tell. I don't know if you can see, if I can zoom in or not. But instead of having pores or instead of having gills, they have little teeth. So these are some nice hedgehogs. We're going to take a couple of these. You might be able to tell a little bit better on this one because it's a little bit bigger mushroom. And you can see where I cleaned it off with the brush, how they kind of broke off right there. Some people will actually scrape these off because they can come off while you're cooking. So depending on your recipe, if you don't want a bunch of little pieces. Oh, this is a good find. I usually find some chanterelles in this area too, so keep my eyes open. Very nice ones. See how that almost looked like a hedgehog, but see how it's got gills instead? Not a hedgehog. There's a reason I came to this spot. Can you see what I see? All over up in there. All over down in there. All right. I haven't even got to my good spot yet. And I think this is going to be more than plenty. So, let's take a couple. Yeah, see them all? Some of these are old, but a lot of them are just primo. Primo. It's like chanterelle heaven. All the little buttons coming up. Yeah, this is a nice little patch. Pretty happy with this. Some little babies over there, and those are all coming up for another day. All right, well, let's do a little bit of picking. Let's do a little bit of picking and a grinning, huh? Let's do some picking. Trying to decide where I want to start here. Which ones look the freshest? I like the looks of some of these over here. These ones are really dirty though. The bad thing about the rain is it splashes dirt up and gets them all on the shrooms. Yeah, these ones are super dirty, especially compared to that first group I found. So the thing about mushrooms is they're like apples. They're the fruit of the mushroom. So when you pick them, you're just picking the fruit. You're not destroying the plant. Nice thing about these ones is I'm not seeing hardly any bug activity. So they must be pretty low. I mean, these are just nice and primo. I mean, you guys got to look at this. You got to see this. Look at how nice those are. Those are really, really nice. Not one bit of bug activity in there. Perfect. These have to be really fresh. The bugs haven't even got to them yet. And I always wash them up when I get home too, but I find the cleaner they are in the field, the easier they are to clean at home. As you can see, I have a nice bag full. And before y'all bust my chops, yes, I normally use a basket and I forgot today. So as you can see, I've got a nice haul of golden chanterelles and some hedgehogs. And there are still plenty left. All right, well, let's, I think we're gonna walk a little bit more, if nothing else, just to see if we can discover a new spot for later or next year or another second trip out. There's enough little ones here where I could come back and probably in about 2 days and go through them again and take another batch out, which I might do. Chanterelles you can cook and then freeze. That's the way I normally preserve them, so I think I might do some of that. And of course, eating them fresh is the best. The only problem is now you got to catch some fish or get some steak to go with them. I am really surprised that the deer flies are not that bad at all. And the mosquitoes aren't horrible either. With all this rain we've had, I just expected it to be just unbearable, but it's really quite decent. All right, well, I'm gonna keep looking. If I see something fun, I'll show you guys. About 25 feet over, and here's another little clump. And it continues out that way. I just left that spot and they are just everywhere. And I haven't even got to my spot that I normally go to yet. Crazy cray. Well, I'm gonna head back to the van. I have plenty of mushrooms for today's trip. I may come back and pick some more in the next couple days, but I want to make sure that I can get these all cleaned up and processed and used and put away, because I don't want to take more than I can use or that I can process before they get soft and icky. So now we're going to see if we can maybe catch fish or something, because I haven't been doing very well at that this year, and it would be nice. All right, I'm almost out of battery, so I'm gonna sign off for now until I get back to the truck where I got an extra spare, and we'll catch you in a bit. If for some reason, if I don't make it out fishing, thanks for joining me on this little mushroom hunt today. And like I said, you know, don't use this as an educational guide. That's merely for entertainment. I'm confident in my selection and identification, but I do not want to be responsible for anybody else's mistakes or errors or anything else. So please be cautious, and if you are picking mushrooms, make sure you've consulted several different guides and taken the proper safety precautions, which I am not going to get into. I will let you Google and research those yourself. All right, thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you soon. Well, I opted not to go fishing because it's really pretty warm out, and I didn't want the mushrooms to sit in the hot van. You all saw me picking these chanterelles, and how I clean them is I just rinse them over some water in the sink and get all the dirt out, and I just use a clean paintbrush reserved specifically for this purpose, hence the note to my wife, and I just brush it with the paintbrush until it's all nice and clean. Then what I'm going to do is heat up some butter in a pan. I'm going to tear these into little pieces, throw them in the pan, and I'm going to saute them, maybe with a little garlic. Actually, I thought that was garlic, it's ginger. Maybe even with a little bit of garlic, and then I could either eat them now or package them in plastic and freeze them for long-term storage. So I like to just tear my chanterelles into just chunks. They're kind of, not stringy, but they kind of remind me of like chicken meat in a way. Kind of that texture, other than not meaty. And the small ones you can leave whole if you want. You can see how it kind of pulls apart almost, and kind of like string cheese almost. Now I'm going to make a lot of these just because some I'm going to eat now, and then I'm going to, like I said, package them into individual plastic containers or plastic bags. So I'm probably making more than I normally would, but